Recap. Welcome to the Social Media Recap Show, brought to you by the Geeks at Both Blogging. Social Media Recap is a weekly look back at the changes in social media platforms, apps, and marketing. Good. Recap.
Yes, I am very well aware that you can see me checking my teeth. I realize it's live, but what do you do when the music is playing? You just kind of look around and say, okay, they're staring at me while the music's playing. I haven't figured out the whole screen share yet on Google Hangouts, so I think you guys are okay with it. Jennifer Wilson is joining me today. However, I must tell you what a gorgeous specimen she is, because unfortunately she couldn't get her webcam to work, but we did get audio to work. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hey there.
All right, see, I can hear you. I'm pretty sure you can too. Jennifer is a Human Resources Director. That's right, Jennifer?
Correct, yep, Director of Human Resources.
Is it healthcare or?
Yep, I am a Director of Human Resources for Deer Oaks. We're a multi-site psychology practice, and so we employ licensed psychologists, licensed clinical social workers to provide services across 18 states in the nursing home environment.
And you've been doing this for a while, right?
Yep, I've been with them for a little over 10 years.
That is awesome. And if you don't mind me mentioning, which I'm going to anyway, is that you're a military spouse, and you've actually been able to sustain this profession for 10 years, even though you have a husband who is active duty.
Correct, yeah. So I've been with them since 2004, so I spent 3 years in the office in San Antonio, which is our corporate office location, and then the owner of the company, Dr. Paul Boskin, allowed me to continue working for them despite our various PCSs, and so as of right now, I am in Indiana, but I have been able to continue working for them despite living in Maryland, Michigan, Colorado, Alabama, and now Indiana. Over the last 7 years. So I've spent 7 years telecommuting, and then of course traveling to our corporate office on a regular basis. But
very cool, very cool. And that's how I have been introduced to Jennifer. Once upon a time, I was a military spouse, and Jennifer was in charge of the spouses club that I was in at the time, and that's probably evolved a lot too, I suspect, Jennifer. I'm assuming you probably use Facebook pages now for spouse clubs and.
Right. Yeah, we use Facebook and Facebook to interact with spouses that are maybe not actively attending, but interact with them in those ways, and then use Google with Google Docs and those type of things to track activities as well from a key spouse perspective. Tracking information, sharing information as well through Google, but yeah, we use Facebook a lot for events, sending out information, and keeping members up to date and connected.
And that just seems to be the standard now. I remember when, and it wasn't that many years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I was a military spouse, we were still relying on telephone calls and emails. So. It's
definitely a lot easier. Definitely a lot easier with keeping connected with things like Facebook.
So business-wise, I would assume a lot of what you do, at least in the HR part of it, is recruiting.
Mm-hmm. And right. So yeah. So I use Facebook as a method to recruit, as well as using LinkedIn as another option too, and to keep connected with past candidates. Also. Allowing folks to be aware of what conferences and conventions we'll be attending so they can meet our staff, and so different ways to connect with people that way as well.
And just curious, off the record, even though we're recording, but is it really common practice these days for human resource departments to check out people's social accounts?
We don't make it a practice. The way we keep connected with folks through Facebook is we have our company's our company has a Facebook page, and so folks like that, and based on them liking our Facebook account, can then keep up to date with us. We do some, strategic marketing through Facebook to feed into people's feed in terms of positions that are available with our company and those types of things, but we don't make it a practice to check out folks' Facebook. We deal with professionals, and they're professional at work. I don't know. I guess what I'll have to say is not really a reason to do that. I have better things to do, I think, with my time than that. But I'm not sure. I'm sure there are other HR folks out there who may, but I don't make it a habit of doing that. So.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. And so part of our weekly social media recap is we take a look at the past week if there are any changes in platforms, apps, and marketing. Give a tip, have a question of the week, and then at the very end of the show, we have a social media quiz for charity. Jennifer, tell everybody who you're playing for today.
Healthcare for the Homeless out of Baltimore. It's a fantastic nonprofit that works with homeless individuals that are facing homelessness, as well as having crisis related to medical and mental health needs.
Ooh, very good. Awesome. Well, there's at least one gimme in there, so we'll be giving some money to your charity today for sure.
Okay, all right.
But let's get started on social media platforms. Feel free to interject or ask questions as I go along. Really, there wasn't a ton of updates as far as the platforms go, but some interesting stories came out of it. Facebook, as usual, has the most updates. New tools to promote events are available on Facebook now. So if you're a marketer, and Jennifer mentioned even just through spouse clubs and other volunteer organizations setting up Facebook events, you can actually pay to specifically promote events through Facebook now, where you sort of could before by forcing a link, but now they've included a module that works specifically with events. By the way, I have links to all of these stories today through themoblogging.com/blog, and you'll find links for additional information if you want to read more about it. In addition to Facebook, the privacy Check-up Dinosaur is back. When we first started the social media recap back in March of this year, I did a little funny bit with a dinosaur. Anyhow, they are finally rolling out the Privacy Dinosaur. So let me ask you, Jennifer, have you seen the Privacy Dinosaur yet? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have not personally seen it, short of the little link you provided.
Well, it's a little cartoon dinosaur. It's silly as can be. However, it is doing some good things for people on Facebook who may be new to it or not quite understand the permissions and not quite sure who they're showing all of their information to. So now on Facebook, and they're rolling this out over the next few days, so you might not see it immediately, but in your top right-hand corner of your page settings, for your personal page, you'll be able to look at security, and then the little dinosaur will appear as an option to help you through each section of your Facebook to see who you're actually sharing it with, whether it's public or family only or friends only. So it's a nice little addition to personal pages, not necessarily any effect to the marketing world, but something you might be aware of when you see that change. Next thing on Facebook is an inline page post ads. This will make 0 sense to you unless you're somebody who advertises on Facebook through the Power Editor, but there have been some changes on that. If you are a Facebook marketer, you're aware that you can promote posts, and you can also promote posts that don't even exist, meaning you can create the post in the Ads Manager while you're placing the ad. It doesn't have to be a real post that lives on your Facebook page. Well, they've actually made that customizable post more obvious. You used to have to hunt for it in order to create a, there's a fly. I'm waving, not to say hello, but there's a fly. They used to make it really hard to find a custom post, hidden post. Now they're just making it more obvious, long story short. LinkedIn, we'll go right into that one. They recently had a blog post that talked about login sections, data archiving, security-related emails. Jennifer, you mentioned being a big user on LinkedIn as far as keeping tabs on, well, not keeping tabs, but staying connected.
Yes. Yeah, keeping connected.
Keeping connected. Well, LinkedIn has recently decided to let you know if you are logged into multiple sessions on LinkedIn. I think we may be familiar with this on Facebook. If you were to check Facebook through a different browser, you'll get an email saying, "No, we've detected a browser is logged in with your Facebook." Well, LinkedIn's doing the same thing now, as well as data archiving. So if for whatever reason you've lost all of your connections or your posts or whatever on LinkedIn, it gives you an opportunity to back it up as well. I'm not quite sure how that would happen, but okay. And the third thing that LinkedIn is doing is sending you the type of emails that Facebook has been doing. If they see a possible security breach or change, they just want to make you aware of it. So you're going to start getting emails that you didn't get to get before from LinkedIn, giving you a heads up about those things. Twitter. Just a few things on that. TwitPic, if you are a big user of TwitPic on your Twitter accounts, they are closing their doors. Long story short, they are, I guess, in legal things with Twitter as far as trademark usage. So, yeah, sorry about that. New design on Twitter. They have changed fonts, and they are allowing you to do custom colors. There's been a lot of pushback as far as the fonts go, but I don't think they're going to be changing it anytime soon. Do you use Twitter, Jennifer?
I do. I think I'm not cool enough for Twitter. I'm not sure. I tried, and so I have a Twitter account. I have a Twitter account for myself, and then a Twitter account for our work page. And for me personally, it's not going well, but it's a skill I need to work on.
Well, Twitter, speaking of new things with Twitter, as far as people that are just joining up, Twitter has found that people have a really sharp curve as far as learning how to navigate Twitter when they're first getting started, really just trying to understand all of the noise that's occurring in there. So for us marketers, this is not an ideal situation, but for the normal person that's just getting on there for their personal use, it looks like Twitter's going to be making some changes. Possibly huge, big, marketing impacting changes. So as we all know, Twitter is a business, and so they want to make sure that they can monetize everything as much as they possibly can. And like Facebook has been doing to brands, trying to make them pay to play, Twitter looks like they're going to be doing something similar. So they're in talks, and there's lots of things going around about this, about adding a feed algorithm to Twitter. So what does that mean? I'll liken it back to Facebook again. So we don't see every single thing that our friends post. We don't see everything that all of the brands post on Facebook. On Twitter, however, you see absolutely everything that you follow. And then if you want to see other things that you don't follow, then you search on your hashtags. Well, the beautiful thing about Twitter is that you weren't limited, your information wasn't limited. What information you put out there wasn't limited. It pretty much guaranteed that it would be out there and available for all of your followers to see. Well, with this new algorithm, odds are it's going to be driven by those who have paid to advertise on Twitter, and then some right now erroneous algorithm that will decide what content we actually see in our Twitter account. So for you, Jennifer, it could be a good thing because it will help you understand that Twitter feed a little more. You won't be so inundated with 5 billion things rushing by you. The downside for marketers is just as hard as we have to try on Facebook, we may have to start trying even harder on Twitter. And that's all I got to say about that. There are no app updates, but I did want to give a shout out to the iPhone that comes out on September 9th. Are you ready? Are you going to stand in line and rush to the store, Jennifer? For that iPhone?
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, that goes back to my comment about Twitter. I'm not cool enough. I'll probably wait until my phone dies. So.
Are you an iPhone user now?
I do. I have an i4.
Oh, okay. Well, this could some significant improvements. Mobloggy.com/blog. I link out to what they're assuming is going to be all the new cool features, including a much larger screen and a thinner phone. So
nice.
We'll see. I gave up my iPhone a while ago because I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't like the $100 a month phone bill for starts. So I have a home phone, and then I have like Google Voice, and the cool home phone talks to my iPad, so I can get phone calls through my iPad. So that's my way around it. I'm going to try to save my money and not be charged for data.
Yeah. Will the battery stay longer? That's my biggest complaint.
You know, yeah.
Considering battery, but that's all right.
I would assume that would be a new update. I think they helped it with the last version, and so since you're 2 versions behind and you suddenly break your 4, you're going to be in for a treat if you upgrade to the 6. So question of the week, I'm going to roll some tips into it, but the question of the week is Facebook no longer free. What's your initial reaction to that, Jennifer?
Is that true?
It's not part of the quiz.
I don't think that's like one of those rumors. You know, the constant rumor about having to pay for Facebook and post this, friends with Pat. I guess that would be my initial response.
Well, it really comes back to what marketers are feeling in regards to Facebook. From the beginning of when they started to allow business pages, nobody had to pay for anything. We just got to set up a little business page. We had to ask all our friends to come like the page so that we could have a unique URL for our page. And then we posted stuff, and everybody and their grandma saw it just like they saw pictures of my food. And then Facebook evolved again and realized, okay, we have all of these businesses on here. We need to start placing some guidelines on them. And that included the type of pages that paid for hundreds of people to like their page so that it made their page look cool, that they had this many people liking their page. So then Facebook got it wise to that and really started implementing the whole ads-based marketing. Running ads to try to get people to like your page. Running ads that highlighted something that you posted on your page. And then after all of that happened, they introduced this newsfeed algorithm that limited the amount of information that anybody logging into Facebook would see. So unless you were a super cool brand that was already making sure that their content was quality, you fall off the face of the earth. So while maybe 500 of your 1,000 fans were seeing your post before, it dwindled down to like 5. And so it comes down to, is Facebook no longer free? For me, the short answer is Facebook is no longer free. It's free to sign up, it's free to post, it's free to let your friends know about it, but if you're just starting out, you're going to have to pay in order for people to start to see your page. So I did come up with a quick list of some things that you could do for free on Facebook that could help your engagement. And really that's all it comes down to, is how many times you can get somebody to like or comment on your Facebook page. So even Jennifer, even when you're posting or putting stuff out there on Facebook about events and everything, it's like, okay, well, how do I make sure that people are going to see anything that I'm doing on this Facebook page? So here are a few things. First and foremost, complete your page profile. There is no reason to leave off website, telephone number, email address, a profile photo, a cover image, and then they have a whole section for biography information. So there's no reason to leave that information off. It's free. It's going to tell people more about your business. People are more likely these days to see if you have a Facebook page before they would go to your website. So, Jennifer, in your case, you could be posting, and you may do this already, the job descriptions or the open positions right there on the Facebook page, and not even redirecting them to the website.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be one way to get people to see more of your content. The second way is what I call a click-through call to action. So you have your profile photo. People can click on that, and you can add a link and any type of text, just like you would on any image. So that would be one thing. The second thing would be a click-through call to action on your cover images. So you have that big piece of real estate. You could put what your current job openings are. You can talk about your company. If you're having a sale, if you're having a special at your restaurant, that's good, free real estate for advertising what's going on with your company. The reason why you would want a click-through, so if somebody were to click on your cover page, you'd want to have some kind of call to action. Here's a link, and you can view the rest of our 99-cent specials, or whatever that might be. Or here's our awesome job of the month, but click here for a full listing of all of the opportunities we have available. So two things happen. One, it gives a place to click through. You're giving them a call to action. But every time you change the profile photo or the cover image, it shows up in the news feed. So if you have that additional text, it's almost like it's like you're posting on your Facebook page. But for whatever weird reason, the algorithm doesn't affect profile photos and cover photos. So if you're changing those out relatively often, if you have the energy and time to do it once a week, very cool, because all of the people that are following your page will actually see some of those changes. You have a higher % chance of being seen when you change your profile photo and cover image than you do just a regular post on your page, if you're not paying for it. Okay, do you know if that your profile on your company's page is fully complete, Jennifer?
I believe the profile is complete. I know that we don't make a habit of changing that free real estate that you mentioned. And we do post, and then we do, like, if we were to post a position to Indeed, then we would cross that post over to Facebook and, post it there, and that way when people are hopefully seeing that post, they can click and link through that job, etc. And we have done like a pay to post for people to see that posting further, which goes into your question of, is Facebook really free? If you're paying to bump your post to those type of things, is that free? But this is a really good point in terms of changing that the cover, the timeline cover.
Yeah.
I think I'll do that.
The other thing that Facebook likes to show to the people that are your fans is whenever, and I didn't include this on the tip, but it just occurred to me, is whenever you have a historic moment. You know how your friends, if they get married, or it's their anniversary, or it's their birthday, you get inundated with all of this, woohoo, and here's shared pictures of them. Well, something similar happens when you do a landmark event on your page as well. So say you're introducing a new product, or you had a cool new member join your team. I would put those in there, and I keep on saying landmark. I'm going to pull up my Facebook so I can give you the exact, in the timeline. It's the timeline event. 2 seconds. I'm going to look because I want to remember what the word is. It is a milestone. Yay! I remembered. I didn't remember. I had to go look. But adding milestones, or actually help you be seen more than a regular post. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Okay, good. Number 3, analyze your analytics. So this is another free thing you can do which could help up your engagement when you actually are posting, is if you look at the analytics on your page, check out what your audience is doing. What type of posts are you getting the most engagement on? Are they photo posts, which normally are the highest engaging type posts? Are they regular old status posts? Are you getting the most engagement on those? Are you getting more engagement when you ask a question or a survey question or ask for input on a product or service? Are you getting more engagement when you post links? So that's one free thing you can do, is whatever you're getting the most engagement on, keep doing that. Also on the analytics, you can tell what time of day the majority of your Facebook fans are on. For most pages, it's evenings and weekends, but consider that when you're posting as well. If you're posting at 7 a.m. and the majority of the people who follow your page aren't looking at your post until 7 o'clock at night, there's this huge 12-hour span where you are going to be pushed down by all the rest of the content that's happening throughout the day. So try scheduling a post, say 6 o'clock if you know the majority of the people are going to be on at 7, and see if that might help your engagement as well. Last but not least on my list is share with your friends, within reason. So our friends post, normally they see most of the personal stuff before they will see a lot of the brand stuff for now. But consider sharing stuff that you're doing. For Mobloggy, I tried to share the social media recap show on my personal page or any big events that I know my friends might be interested in, maybe just support me because they're my friend. I guess the only word of advice on that is to just not be overly rambunctious with how much you're sharing from the page. But that can help. And in that same vein, if you tag a person using your personal account on a business page, that'll actually help engagement as well. Sound good, Jennifer?
Sounds excellent.
Guess what time it is?
Quiz time.
It's quiz time. Tell us again what you're playing for.
Healthcare for the homeless in Baltimore.
Healthcare for the homeless in Baltimore. I have sound effects and everything. You have 30 seconds. I have 5 questions. You get $10 for each correct question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Nervous.
Question number 1. Customers expect a response to a question on social media within A, 1 hour, B, 1 day, or C, 1 week.
1 hour.
True or false? You can change the autoplay setting for videos on Facebook.
False.
Whoops. True or false? You can't promote posts on your personal Facebook profile. Or keep going.
You can't. If you cannot, that's false.
Number 4, true or false? You can tag another business on a business page.
True.
Number 5, name 2 variations of the name Jennifer.
Jenny and Jen.
I think you may have done really well. Plus, I gave you some extra time because I felt like my game show music was louder than I was. So number 1, customers expect a response to a question on social media within, and you got this one right, A, within an hour, believe it or not. So some of you who don't have people managing your pages really might reconsider if you're the type of page that people need questions answered, because you might be losing an opportunity and you might be losing a fan if you don't get back to them within the hour. Number 2 was true or false. You can change the autoplay setting for videos on Facebook. Yes, you can. And stories, did you say true or false on that one?
I said false, because I can't figure it out.
You can.
I personally cannot change the autoplay.
It is in your settings. So you just have to check in your settings. If you are somebody who's a mobile phone user primarily and not on Wi-Fi all the time, those autoplay videos actually do eat into your data time. So I would recommend turning those off unless you're okay with possible extra charges in your monthly bill. Oh, I have dogs. True or false? You can't promote posts on your personal Facebook. Shows all this. Sit. It's a live show. Control.
That's one of the hazards of working from home.
Right. Only you would understand that, right? Number 3, you can't promote posts on your personal Facebook profile. That is false. You definitely can promote posts on your Facebook profile. Last time I checked, it's about $7 if you wanted to promote one of the posts on your personal page. Number 4 was a true or false. You can tag another business on a business page. Yes, indeed, but if you're in there as your business, you cannot tag another person. And number 5, well, that was your gimme, Jen. Oh, and I think we may have lost Jennifer. I do know she had a... Oh, no, she's there. Okay, good. Your name had disappeared for me. So you got 4 out of the 5 right.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I'm so sorry you had webcam issues, but I appreciate you being with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you if you're watching. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm here every Friday at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to look back, there goes the dog again. And if you want to look back on what we discussed today, it's on our blog, mobloggy.com/blog. My dogs and Jennifer and myself, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week.